362-2828 or stop by to find out more about Caring Voices.
Wheat futures trading sharply higher. This is Hoosier Ag Today. I'm CJ Miller with your Monday midday farm market update. Soybeans are mixed, but corn is trading higher. Also, wheat is trading nearly limit up based on the continued disruption of grain being shipped out of the Black Sea region. Russia attacked Ukraine's capital of Kyiv for the first time in more than a month, causing concerns about a prolonged war. July corn 12.5 high.
Some reporting on hometownnewsnow.com, our reporting site, and some others about the Corsicana Mattress Company, a factory that came in maybe in February or March, and a national mattress company put $8-9 million, maybe $12 million or something into the facility out by, I think, the old Scott Forsman, and then all of a sudden just pulled out. What happened there?
So myself and Commissioner Matias and Tony Rodriguez had a conference call shortly after this was announced. And we had a conference call with the CEO, the new CEO. So the thing that we had no idea of, and I don't think the public did, is that this company was sold first of the year. So it's now has a totally new owner. So when we sat down with this new CEO that was brought in, he basically said that given what he's looking at, they have a facility up in Wisconsin. He was surprised that they even expanded into this area. So the corporate, this head CEO said there's absolutely nothing that we could do. There's nothing that we could work on. He says that they were basically right now in survival mode. They were just restructuring the entire company to do what they can. And he was very, very sympathetic to the problems that this is causing for the individual that they hired there. They had good people there. We had a very good conversation with him. Unfortunately, there's nothing. We could have thrown some incentives at him or something else, but inevitably they were leaving. It's over. They're going. They're restructuring, and this isn't part of the new plan for them. So I'm not sure why it turned around so fast, and it's very sad. The good part is we've got a newly renovated building. If you go by there, 500 in Highway 2 there. Mm-hmm. It looks great because I live out near that area there and have gone by that building for years. The other thing is Corsicana came in while that building was being renovated. They were going to be using some space in Michigan City over by the old Joy Manufacturing. So they've actually been in town doing some work here and doing some warehousing and stuff for a while. But it's unfortunate. They did the incentives that we offered them with the abatements on the building did not kick in. The state incentives did not kick in, so the county did not lose any money at all.
So again, the certainly negative is that there's the loss of employment for some residents.
Correct.
The positive, if there is a positive, is the county didn't have to put money towards this. I assume there may have been an abatement package, but that would have came in later after they'd already met their goals. And the county now obviously don't own it, but there is a renovated building available for
Correct.
other
And there's
manufacturing.
people already looking at it.
Okay.
So, and there's people out there on social media that made comments, this was Sheila Matias's and Randy Novak's project. This was not Randy Novak. So the only thing I had to do with it, I was being a member of the council when they came for abatement. Other than that, this was not a project. I'm not, leading the economic development team. That's the commissioners handle that. We work closely with them, but it is unfortunate. It is anybody that puts a bad spin or a negative spin on that. and thinks that the county did something wrong is just looking for issues that
sometimes
they're not there.
Again, I did read on national media actually about the Corsicana Mattress Company coming in there and a new CEO essentially shaking the company up. So not much you can do about that. I want to talk a little bit because I know that different elements of the county government are all getting together right now trying to find the best path forward for our property tax bill issues that are going on. One of the things, we had Auditor Tim Stavos, and he had mentioned that they're getting, essentially should be releasing or sending out new tax bills fairly soon. Do you have an update on that, or do you know anything about it?
I do not have an update.
Okay.
So we anticipate, worst case scenario, it should be the end of this month that the new tax bills would be coming out. The thing that the council is looking for is we're looking for the due date, because when you get your tax bill, it says taxes are due by. As soon as we know that date, the council is going to have a special meeting. And at that special meeting, we're going to waive back tax, in other words, penalties, up into that day. So we're anxiously awaiting for that day. I know that the rates are currently being advertised. I know that between the auditor's office and the treasurer's office and the assessor's office, they're working very hard to get all these things done. And hopefully they get it done soon. Worst case scenario, I think it's the 1st of July.
And there are some people that are naturally worried that they're going to have, again, maybe the actual bill might be higher than the money they sent in or something, that there's going to be late fees or anything. The goal with the county government right now, knowing that, again, this was complicated, that they hopefully will not have any fees for that.
Correct.
Right?
We're going to waive all penalties if they're paid by the new date that's coming out.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Great.
Definitely.
Another thing that, as I was looking into your minutes and the agendas for the council, it was interesting because obviously the election results, Dennis and I were on the radio that night, and it was one of the most interesting nights we've had on the radio here. As we were kind of
free time.
Well, we were getting to sing some show tunes and everything at that point. But the council did, essentially, some of you on the council encouraged the election board essentially to go back to reporting in snippets almost, right, as it comes in. One of the things that it does, what is the council's role in the elections, and was that more just to say, as elected officials, as one of the major governmental bodies in the county, we would just like to encourage you on behalf of the residents to do a better job? Or
I would say more the latter part of that. So the council has no authority over the election board other than we control financing. The question is I think it caused a lot of issues that night. And it's not that they made the decision to hold the election results, because we had both attorneys. I've spoken to both attorneys, let's put it that way. One came to the meeting, another one, Nelson, I talked to after that. I understand their thinking. Since the last election results, they released some and they were wrong. They were a little gun shy about releasing them, but you got to tell people ahead of time. You can't not tell people that we're doing it differently this time. That's the big snafu, I think, in the whole thing. So
yeah, that was kind of our issue. Is not that you change what you're doing, but that we didn't hear anything about it. And
here's the key thing. So when they send out in the primary, there's not a big turnout.
Yeah,
let's face it. So they send out all these extra machines, and the reason that it took so long to get it is because all those extra machines that they don't even use have to be zeroed out. So they still have to go to every one of those machines and plug them in and count them just to make sure they show zero on there. And so you're doing almost the same amount of work for a general election. Exactly.
But I think only 22% of registered voters, or maybe, no, that was in 2020. I think 18% of registered voters or something in the primary voted.
So one of the things that they talked about possibly doing was sending out less machines. So but when you send them out, you have to check them. You have to double check them to make sure there's no somebody didn't accidentally open it and somebody voted on it or something. So you want to make sure everyone's counted. So,
All right, we've got Randy Novak, LaPorte County Council President, on the show. If you've got a question, we're going to open up the calls here after our commercial break. You're welcome to call the Liquor Vault on-air line, 219-362-0522. You also can text our Liquor Vault on-air line again. You can text it again. Get your thumbs a-working, 219-362-0522, or email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. If you're streaming on Facebook or YouTube with us, you can just put your comments in the comment section, and I'll get them here in the studio. We're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back here with Council President Randy Novak in just a few minutes. Keep listening to 96.7 The Eagle.
For over 50 years, LaPorte has trusted Cannon's Automotive Service for prompt, efficient, same-day service. And that same Cannon's commitment extends to area businesses who rely on a fleet of one or many to take your goods or service to the customer. Whether it's the truck or trailer that needs maintained or fixed, trust Cannon's Automotive to maximize your productivity with same-day service. Now with 2 Cannon's locations, 710 Tyler Street and 909 Boyd Boulevard.
With Cannon's Automotive, we fix everything.
The Backyard Butchers are in Michigan City. 20 ribeyes for $39. That's less than $2 a steak. Look for the big white truck in the parking lot today at Lighthouse Place Outlets behind North Face and Adidas. Stock up and save on bulk meat specials on beef, chicken, and seafood. Just look for the big white truck in the parking lot right now at Lighthouse Place Outlets behind North Face and Adidas. Get 20 ribeyes for $39 and more bulk meat deals. For more info, go to backyardbutchers.com. Backyardbutchers.com.
Hi, my name is John Hassey, and I am owner of Hassey Construction and president of Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Every year, some unethical construction companies illegally pay workers cash under the table. That puts businesses Neweka represents that provide a good living wage, pay payroll taxes, and employee benefits at a major competitive disadvantage. These companies rob our state of over $405 million every single year. Imagine what could be done for Hoosiers with that money. Please visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how you can take a stand.
There are 2.1 million Americans with opioid use disorder, and only 20% of those receive specialty addiction treatment. North Shore Health Center offers hope through substance abuse treatments and group sessions that are available right here in LaPorte. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, don't wait. Call today, 888-822-2402. North Shore Health Center has moved to 508 Legacy Plaza, just off Monroe Street. Stop by or call 888-822-2402 or visit northshorehealth.org.
We're waiting to hear from you. Dial or text 362-0522 and let us know what you think. That's 362-0522. Back to Sound Off on 96.7 The Eagle.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Sound Off. My name's Nate Laux. We've got LaPorte County Council President Randy Novak here with us on the show. If you've got a question for Council President Novak, you're welcome to call or text the Liquor Vault on-air line at 219-362-0522 or email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com, or just put your comments in our streams and we'll look at those as well. Let's get to our first caller. There we go. Thank you so much for calling. Thanks for waiting. What's your question for Council President Novak?
Thank you for coming on today, Mr. Novak. This is Steve Hollifield. My questions concern the bleacher out there at the fairgrounds. I believe last year we put new covers on top of those bleachers. Why was a structural engineer not brought in to look at those? Then we possibly wouldn't have to be in an emergency status to get them work done now. And also, why are county highway employees working out there when I thought Nucor graciously came to our rescue to solve this crisis? Thank you.
All right. So, first of all, let me just clarify that the bleachers, so there's the grandstands, which is under the big canopy. That is the only part of the bleachers out there that the county owns. So all the other bleachers, the scaffolding bleachers and everything else, the majority of all those were all condemned, and they're all gone. Those were all supposed to be temporarily put up and taken down, taken down every time there's an event. They were put up like 15 years ago and left up. So the grandstands let me knock off the other part. As far as county employees being out there, it's a county-owned property. So the county owns the grandstands. The county owns all the buildings that are out there. The county owns all the grounds. The county owns the grass. So that's why the county's out there doing work, doing things, adding to it. As far as the bleachers, there were new boards that were replaced before the season last year before the fair and everything on all the bleachers. So we probably spent, I think, somewhere around, I heard figures around $40,000 for new wood, because you not only sat on the wooden board, but you walked on a wooden board. So we had to replace a bunch of those. It wasn't just in the grandstands. That was in all the motor speedway, which holds 2,000 people over there, the grandstands, all the bleachers around there. So all the wood that was used, that was removed from there, that was usable, is Draft Horse has that. So that wood that's good is all staying at the fairgrounds. Anything that was usable stayed at the fairgrounds. The metal that was, any metal that was scrapped was taken by Draft Horse people, and that money's going back into the organization, because the bleachers didn't, those freestanding bleachers did not belong to the county. So we did not do anything with those. So that's, did I cover all the?
I think so. That's a lot of bleacher talk.
That is, but it's so in the urgent. Oh, I know the engineer, structural engineer. So we contacted Homeland Security. Homeland Security said, we do not inspect bleachers anymore. This is the company we recommend. They came out and they're the ones that did it. So we didn't need a structural engineer to look at it. We know what needs to be done. This gentleman told us what needs to be done, and then they're going to approve it, certify it once it's done. So.
That'll be done by fair, right?
We're with your fingers crossed.
All right.
They're scrambling.
All right. Here's a question. This is one of my favorite questions to get. Please educate the public on what it is you do. First, Randy, explain a little bit for our listeners, because again, one of the goals for me on Sound Off is hopefully to educate and inform and entertain our listeners a little bit. But I don't assume that all of our listeners always know how their local government works, right? So first, explain what the council does, and then what the council president specifically does that's different, okay? So what does the council do? County council.
So the thing that makes the council different than the commissioners are, we like to use the simple term, they're like the mayors of the county. They're responsible for the buildings. They're responsible for the employees. They sign all the contracts, do things like that. The council is the fiscal body. The council handles the finances of the county. We do all the budgets. We set all the budgets. We're the ones that determine, any kind of rates that are out there. We do all of that stuff. And in 1910, it was when the legislators decided to implement councils to oversee the financing of the commissioners. So that's how the council came to be. There's 7 members on the council, 3 members on the commissioners. Myself as council president, my job is kind of to front everything for the council. So I review all the agendas. People make requests, permission to hires, and then we give formal approval at the council meetings. Attend numerous meetings. In between I'm involved in a lot of things. So it's kind of to make sure that the council runs smoothly is the president's job in a nutshell. So that's what it is, just to make sure that everything is where it is, and make sure the meeting's organized and run the meeting.
All right, here's a little bit of a longer question, but I had it on my notes as well to talk about the 39 North Conservancy District. And just some other issues around some of these things. But here's a question online for you. I think voters would like to know if Randy is ready and prepared to fight the mayor trying to annex a good chunk of Center Township and some of Springfield Township, bringing over 120 property owners into the city domain over the dispute with 39 North Conservancy District. Randy should have a unique perspective, having been the fire chief of Michigan City for so many years, and understanding the difference in how county fire departments fight fires versus how city fire departments fight fires. Much of the county isn't served at all by fire hydrants and relies on tankers to supply water to fight county fires. It's my understanding the county has several tankers at Cool Spring and on-demand tankers at Springfield. I'm confused as to why the mayor would not want to work with the 39 North Conservancy for the betterment of the county. So explain a little bit about what's happening in 39 North. The mayor has made it clear he would prefer to have that area annexed in. Where's the county on that? Some of the concerns that were brought up in the question.
So 39 North currently is in a TIF area for the county. So redevelopment, which I chair, that's in our TIF area. we've been working very hard to try and get a grant for a water tower out at the end of 39 North. There was always supposed to be a water tower. It was always part of the expansion plan and do things. 39 North came into existence. They're the ones that floated the bonds to run the water out there and the sewer out there. They're the ones that got it started. They did all that. Those bonds have all been paid off, is my understanding. So 39 North has, I wouldn't say, I don't think they want to go out and bond to put up the water tower, because then that's going to be all passed on to the homeowners out there, and nobody wants that. So as far as the annexation, let's get into that. I'm not a pro-annexation person. I'm a pro, we need to fix the problem at 39 North. So if 39 North can fix it, more power to them. The county, we don't have the money to build the water tower on our own and to do it.
How much, if you mind me, how much are we talking about for a water tower?
So the water tower alone is probably a $3 million plus dollars. And then they got to run it. So then with the water main at the end of a dead end main, you got to constantly recycle that water inside that tower so it doesn't become stagnant. So is what the mayor's proposing is a loop system that comes back around, which is ideal. So if you have a loop system, it feeds from both directions and you don't have that problem. So they can regulate the water tower and everything better. I'm for getting that problem fixed for the safety of the people that are out there. For the senior living facility that wants to come out there, I think that would be great if it could come out there. We need to get this water fixed. So 39 North needs to fix the issue, if they're in charge of it, fix the issue, or let somebody else fix it. And, you know, the mayor's thing on annexation is the mayor's thing on annexation. Mine is fixing the problem. I'm not campaigning for annexation into the city or anything like that. And I understand the pros and cons, and that's the mayor's battle to sell that part of it. But he has a good solution to fixing the problem. He's the only one that's come up with the solution to fix the problem. So
the other concerns that were brought up in that question, a little bit more, I think, about tankers and water and stuff like that. I would assume wherever the city would have to annex, they'd have to also put in, you know, I mean, as a former fire chief, and if the cities don't have tankers, they would have to put in some kind of system where they can access the water through the pipes, right?
Well, they would. So if the city took it over, the city would put hydrants all over, and they'd have it backfed, and they'd have a loop system. It would be sustainable. The issue is that over the years, and I'm not saying if it was 39 North or the city or whoever, over the years, there's industry out there. And that industry out there is hard to, they're being fed by the hydrants. So the water supply is not sufficient to handle everything. As a matter of fact, if you have if there's a fire, or if you open a hydrant, if you just open a hydrant to fill a fire truck, water dries up at Portofino's. So water dries up on the third floor of the hotel. So the alarm systems might go off for low water pressure out there. Those things we have to fix.
And was there an agreement initially to build a water tower then? Was that part of the agreement? Or I know so many of these things were done before you were around. You know,
my God, yeah.
But is that part of the issue? Was there was agreements made that maybe weren't always followed through?
It was. I think it was always the plan. Whether it was part of an agreement or part of a long-term future expansion, eventually we need to get there. That's the problem. Is everything was allowed to evolve and continue to expand. More houses built out there, subdivisions built out there, industry built out there, and it was never. The water system was never followed through on.
And I know on the cities, and Mayor Dermody will be here on Friday, and he could talk a little bit more about it, but the city's issue is, again, it puts a lot of strain because that water tower isn't there. It puts a lot of strain on their water system and things like that. Which
and then, not that many years ago, they teed off of that dead-end water main there by 35 and Johnson.
Yeah.
And ran that water line down Johnson Road.
Okay.
So now that's like taking a garden hose and then putting a T in it, and you're having even less pressure out there. So We need to get it fixed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I dodged that well enough for the
no, I think
person asking the question or not. But
I think he answered it. All right, so here we go. We've got Council President Randy Novak on the show. If you've got a question, 219-362-0522. You can also email me at soundoff@967theeagle.com. We're going to take our next final break of the day and get back to answer some more questions. And if you have, again, a question, call, text me, 219-362-0522. All right, we'll be right back here on 96.7 The Eagle.
Ben Conowitz here, owner of LaPorte Seamless Gutter. My parents started LaPorte Seamless Gutter in 1982 with one goal in mind, really. Our customers' 100% satisfaction. And we are still providing the same customer service that Tim and Seal Conowitz started all those years ago. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 219-362-9972, or you can visit us on the web, www.lpseamless.com. 219-362-9972.
Can't find the new car you're looking for? Pre-order at Michigan City Hyundai, including the all-new 2022 Santa Fe. Customize your vehicle online from the comfort of home, or stop by our dealership and talk to one of our knowledgeable sales managers. Powertrain, color, trim packages, tires, it's entirely up to you. Plus, each new Hyundai is backed by Hyundai Assurance and America's best warranty. 10 years or 100,000 miles. Your Hyundai, your choice. Visit MichiganCityHyundai.com.
You're gonna like buying a car this way.
Say it with flavor as you get things poppin' this wedding season. Chicagoland Popcorn specializes in helping the bride and groom develop their theme, select flavors, and create a distinctive look for popcorn bars and flavors. It's budget friendly and can be presented in eloquently prepared bags with satin ribbons and tags, or displayed in rustic mason jars. The choices are endless. Enjoy the taste and aroma of unique gourmet popcorn at your next celebration, or just because. Visit ChicagolandPopcorn.com for more details.
There's more than corn in Indiana. It's the best part of America, and it's right within your reach. It's Indiana Beach.
Are you ready for some fireworks? Indiana Beach will be putting on our fireworks show throughout the month of July. Spend the day having fun with friends and family at Indiana Beach, and then watch the amazing show from our boardwalk as we light up the skies over beautiful Lake Schaefer.
Visit IndianaBeach.com to view the complete fireworks schedule.
See you at the beach.
Let's look at the forecast at 96.7 The Eagle, brought to you by the Pink Sheep Children's Boutique.
The charming and affordable Pink Sheep Children's Boutique has so many fun themes and styles for boys, girls, and moms. Come see for yourself. The Pink Sheep Children's Boutique, 604 Lincoln Way in downtown LaPorte.
Michiana weather.
Cloudy skies this afternoon with scattered thunderstorms likely. High of 78. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Cloudy tonight. Scattered thunderstorms likely. 57. From the Weather Center at HometownNewsNow.com. Right now, 65.
Thank you for tuning in to Sound Off. You can now text or email your questions directly to the studio. Call or text 362-0522 or email your questions to soundoff@967theeagle.com. This is Sound Off.
Hello, welcome back to our final segment of Sound Off. We've got Council President Randy Novak here. If you've got a question, you're welcome to call in our last couple minutes here. We've got about 10 minutes left on the show. You can call in. The number is 219-362-0522. You can also text me if you want to text, if that's your thing, 219-362-0522 as well. Here's a question for you. I don't know, again, if this is necessarily in your purview, but maybe you have an opinion on it still. What would the county like to see happen with the old LaPorte Hospital building?
I believe that's already decided.
Has it? Because it's not been announced here.
I believe they're put a fence around it.
They're demoing it, but
with the property or the
building?
Yeah,
with the property. Yeah.
Well, it's city. I mean, it's privately owned. So I mean, and they're not a non-for-profit like Franciscan in Michigan City is. They're a for-profit. So they have been very generous. The hospital, Northwest Health, with donating furniture to different groups and things that have gone in there. They've offered to the fairgrounds, the parking lot light poles and different things. We're trying to see if we can make those work. So there are things that we're trying to use there. But, we need, so a couple of things that we're working on is we're working on a respite house, because there is no respite house in LaPorte County for anybody that has a substance abuse or any kind of in-house treatment. So we actually have a small group of people with Michigan City Council, Maria at the Healthcare Foundation, a couple of the judges, working on trying to put together a plan to do something like that. The other thing that we're doing is we need more mental health, we need better mental health services in LaPorte County. So I'm actually chairing a committee that meets once a month on that, and we're trying to bring people together. You get the emails on those, so we'll see you at the next meeting, my friend.
So I mean, it is a good question, and I know a lot of people are concerned about, again, low-income housing, homeless housing, these kind of things. That is not a specifically Michigan City issue or LaPorte issue. Honestly, low-income housing is a national issue.
Huge.
And so, mental health care, another national issue. What are some of the things that the county is working on? Obviously, we've got one mental health care community health center in the Swanson Center.
Correct.
But there's other agencies doing work here as well. What are some of the goals for that group?
So this group came together because of a councilwoman, Delia, in Michigan City, sent me a thing, said, hey, in Denver, they dispatch mental health experts with police officers to some domestic things and different things to diffuse things. Because just like what we do here with juveniles, they have a hotline, they have a counselor on call, and if they can diffuse that situation without taking that juvenile into custody, then it's that much better. Because once you remove that child from the home, once you arrest somebody in a domestic,
you're entering into
all
kinds of
right. It's like there's no turning back at that point. So this group, so we looked at that. So we had a meeting. It was probably 6-8 people there. We're like, oh my God, we need to expand this into mental health is where it's coming from. The people that get locked up in the jail and they get released a few days later, they're back out on the street. They don't have any place to go. We got to find an answer. So we brought several people together, whether we brought Swanson Center together, the hospitals. I mean, we had, I think, 20 some people at the next meeting. And we're going to expand on that. And we're looking we can't change Medicaid. Medicaid hasn't been increased since 2010, I think, so that's why it's hard to find doctors and clinical people to help with this. But there's some low-lying things that we think we can fix. And if not, there's people that are doing great things in LaPorte County, but not everybody knows what everybody's doing. So just like when the COVID hit and we had the COVID call, or whatever you want to call it, on Thursdays, we had up to 70 people on there. It was information sharing for the county, and that's what we're doing here. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't have the answers to mental health. I don't have the answers to a lot of things, but we can bring people together and we can find the answers, and that's what it is. So,
I mean, also knowing that your leaders know it's an issue, right? I mean,
it's a huge issue, and if we can make things better for the people in LaPorte County, that's part of it. Improving the quality of life in LaPorte County includes people with mental health. I mean, we got to improve that because it's something that everybody's dealing with all the time. So,
here's a question for you. What do you think is the state of LaPorte County's economy right now? How do you think we're doing?
So, I mean, the county as a whole, not the county government.
We can do both, county as a whole, and then,
So the county government right now is in good financial situation. Given that, the new lit is in, we're in a good financial situation. The council, prior to me getting on there, has been very, very, very tight budgeted, even though some people don't think we are. Trust me when I tell you, they scrutinize everything. The end of July, we're going to go into budget hearings. So for 2 days, we go through every line item in every budget. As far as the county as a whole, I wish it was better. There's a lot of people, with the price of fuel, which we're not going to get into the whole, what's causing that. I have an issue with a fuel company that's saying it's the president's fault, but yet we made $9 billion in the first quarter. Now, how is that? How is that possible if you're not part of the problem? So, but people are working. There's jobs out there. No one should be unemployed at this point. It seems like I know there's still people out there hiring all over the place. So I'd like to see it better. We can always make it better. So I don't think it's bad, but I'm not going to say that we're great. I'm not naive to say that we're in a great situation.
One of the common questions we got with the lit, because you did bring up the local income tax that passed, Now, does that have to go towards a legislative vote or no? Is that
no? It's
so?
Done.
It's done. So one of the questions that we received quite often there is, what happens if it doesn't work, right? What happens if there's more money, but that doesn't solve the problem of getting more officers or getting more EMTs or, these kind of things. And it's deeper than just wage. Obviously, you got to improve the wages, right? And that's one hurdle. But what happens if we still have a hard time getting officers? What happens if we still have a hard time getting, the qualified people to do these jobs? Because it's one thing, as Sheriff Boyd will say, it's one thing to get applicants. It's another whole different thing to get good applicants, right?
Qualified applicants. So the difference with the lit between us and the cities is the county, the lit not only goes to sheriffs, EMS, 911, community corrections, juvenile center, and the jail. So it is going to work for LaPorte County.
Mm-hmm.
As far as municipalities, that's a little bit different because they have police and fire, and that's who they can use it for. So they're a little bit more limited as to what they can use it for. But I see it absolutely working for LaPorte County, and I think we're going to find qualified candidates to get these jobs.
So for you, and again, I know this was something important to you, again, as a former fire chief, as you probably lost guys because of wages or something,
Right.
So I understand that there's also a personal connection for you as well. But you do think a good part of the problem was just wage deficiencies. That was part of Mayor Dermody's saying, is when you can go 20 miles elsewhere and make $15,000 to $20,000 more, it's just hard to compete.
Right. And absolutely. Part of it is with the outreach that everybody's having to do to hire people. So we hired several people out of Indianapolis, over in Mishawaka and different places. The issue there is those people's families are there, and eventually they're still looking to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have some natural attrition that people are leaving and going back to where they came from, but we want to make it good enough here to where people don't have to leave, whether it's benefit packages, the equipment that they're using, everything. So I think we're just getting started on it. So
all right. Well, we had Randy Novak here on the show today. I want to thank you so much for giving an update from the council and everything that's going on there. I'll give you the final word, Council President Novak. What do you want our listeners to know?
So I just want to share this with everybody, that opinions don't change the world, actions do. So out there in today's society of social media and everything else, and I'm not slashing anybody for talking on social media, but everybody's got an opinion. But opinions don't change the course of action. Opinions don't create jobs. Opinions don't do this. You have to take action. So get involved, take some action. Make a phone. If you got any questions, call me, 219-877-7069. I'm the only council member that has their phone number on the county website. So I'm the only one that you can obviously get a hold of. So call me anytime. I'm happy to talk to anybody, and I'll get you the answers.
All right. I want to thank you again for being on the show. On Friday, Mayor Tom Dermody will be back for his monthly foray into answering your questions, if you have any questions.